welcome to episode 68 of Speak on It. I did my homework and I really couldn't find anyone great that wore 68, so this is the nameless episode unless someone in the chat can give us someone who wore 68 that is in the Hall of
Are
Fame that
we
we're
are we
always
running
talking
low
about.
on the greats in the '60s?
Yeah, I mean, there's a list of people who haven't, was this the Richie Incognito episode? Like, do you want to name it after Richie?
Well, hold on now. Richie was a legend in his own right.
Yo, Richie was out here being racist and beating up other offensive linemen.
I didn't say he was a legend for the good reason. I just said he was a
No,
legend in his own
that's
right.
fair. That's fair. My apologies. I am your host, in the Oceans, always joined by the smoothest man on the planet, Losty Mix. How you living?
Hey man, you know when you see this fade, it is a little rusty, so I will be getting it shaped up. But when you see this fade, for those who are joining this live video presentation, and shout out to those who are joining us on the audio adventure. But when you see or hear this fade, you know it can only be one brother, the good brother, Losty Mix. And it's always a pleasure to be here with you. I'm living, man. I know me and you, we were kind of before we kind of got on here, we were offline, kind of just talking about, fantasy and what we're excited about, in the two leagues that, we're in together. One being Dynasty, one being a redraft league. I know we're excited about that. Uh, I've also just been excited, just watching some live NFL football again, getting that, that excitement of the season back, ready to see, where the league's taking us. For the Packers, we may have lost the game against the 49ers, but I was kind of impressed with Jordan Love. I think, he's starting to develop in some ways. And obviously we won't be seeing Rodgers during the preseason because we don't need to see him in the preseason. But I was also seeing, some of the other, offenses. It's kind of surprising to see, I guess, how many um, teams played, their starters. But I guess in some cases you kind of need to. Like, I think I'm on the you need to, in certain situations you do need to play, you know, your guys. In other situations, I think, you can play it by player. So um, I don't know, man. I'm just chilling, enjoying some football, ready for that to come through. I've been doing a whole lot of mock drafts. Shout out to the mock draft gangs out here. So you know where it is, man. How you been?
I'm living. It's been a good week so far. It's Tuesday. What's up, Gator J? Welcome to the show. Thank you for stopping by and everyone else who stopped by. You talked about the Packers preseason game, which is perfect timing because tonight we're going to be breaking down the NFC North. The NBA Christmas schedule has leaked. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some preseason things. The WNBA playoffs are getting ready to start. We'll talk about Zach Wilson's injury and our thoughts on starters playing in the preseason. We'll talk about Moon Knight. You have watched it and you have your thoughts. I shared my thoughts when it first came out. I think you and I might have a difference of opinion on that show.
Oh
And then
yeah,
we'll also talk some college football. The AP poll was released. Our initial thoughts on the AP poll. But before we jump to that, this show is brought to you by goingfor2.com. Head over to goingfor2.com for all your daily fantasy needs, whether that's daily fantasy, dynasty, redraft, tons of content. The season is here. Drafts are starting. I know, D, you talked about doing mock drafts. I'm doing 2 or 3 per day. I refuse to lose in both of your leagues. I will win one, if not both. I'm winning some of my money back because I'm sending you a lot of money for these drafts, and I got to win some of it back because times are tight. A recession is on the rise, and I got to make some of this money back. Yeah, as always, join us in the chat. It's going to be a fun episode. Do
I
you
will
want?
remind Danny, just like I will remind the audience, that in my redraft league there is opportunities to win money back,
Yes.
whether you win the league or not. So I'm excited to see that. Um, what I'm saying, in our dynasty league, hey, it's
Yo,
big bang,
Gator,
big little.
Gator popping his shit off already. He said,
Yeah,
"I'm ready."
Gator got to, Gator's ready. Gator's excited. Gator, of course, for all those who are listening, is in the Dynasty League. So shout out to Gator. No, we're excited there. But hey man, I hear you. I'm in 4.5 leagues. I know I'm in a half league because this one's kind of my safe league. It's like a $10
Okay.
league with guys back home, and it's an easy one. I might just draft a draft. Might put it on auto draft, and
Oh, you don't do that. They might hate you.
no, I might like let the computer just pick it. Just take best available player each time. Either way, the four leagues that I'm in, serious in. Hey man, I mean, it's almost close to $400 in league dues this year, so got to get some money back. I feel you on that.
And then also speaking of mock drafts, catch us tomorrow night on Armchair Fantasy at 9:30. We'll be doing a mock draft, talking about our picks, another just more great practice so I can get my money back. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Again, 9:30 tomorrow. We'll be on Armchair Fantasy, going for 2 Live Network on YouTube. Just join us. We want to have some fun. I might have a beer. It's at 9:30. That's a late night for me because I go to bed around 10, so I'm gonna be in there stretched out.
No, look at you. I'm gonna be wide awake. It's up and it's stuck. But where are we starting today? Holla at me.
So we're gonna start over in the NBA. The Christmas schedule has been released, or I would say leaked, because we haven't heard anything official from the NBA. These are just reporters. Or has it been released officially? Everything it's like insider says these are the Christmas games.
I've been seeing a lot of insider says, but
Okay.
I think when it comes to some of these scheduled games, I think we can feel pretty good about the accuracy about some of these.
Some of the games. So let's go over. So the biggest matchup is going to be Memphis will travel to Golden State. Ja and Draymond's Twitter beef has come to life. We also are getting Philadelphia and New York, Milwaukee and Boston. King James and the Lakers are coming to play Luka and the Mavs, and then we're going to wrap it off with the Suns at Nuggets. There's been some chatter that there should have been some younger representation in this group on Christmas Day. D, what are your initial thoughts about this?
You got to sell the league, man. You got to sell the league, and you got to get eyes on your product. Listen, for all y'all Twitter hipsters who say should you get some of the younger representation, I'm gonna remind you that a behemoth is also conducting sporting events on Christmas. A behemoth that the NBA doesn't really usually likes to stay away from, and it's called the NFL. And while the NBA is king, the NFL is king of kings in this country when it comes to Raiders ratings. So they got to get eyes on the product. So you have to have the biggest stars, and not only the biggest stars, you have to have the biggest markets and the biggest teams. The Knicks have to be seen, people. New York is too big of a market. I'm sorry. Get over it. Get over it. They have to include the Lakers because LA is a huge draw. Let me tell you another thing. You know who's another huge draw? The Golden State Warriors, another huge market. And then when you start looking at some of these other markets, you see now you're putting faces of the league. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, who was just in the finals. Ja Morant, obviously becoming a probably a league pusher, a league standout. He's obviously probably the most electrifying star. You start looking at that, then you have obviously Denver and Phoenix, two of the bigger, smaller markets, if that makes sense. So, look, fam, you got to get eyes on the game, and you got to get eyes on your product. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, they put the Timberwolves in one of these slots. It's not gonna get sold. If they put the
only other team I can think of is New Orleans.
If they put the Clippers on, no, because that's not pushing the needle. You don't know if Zion's even going to be healthy. You're not even going to waste. You're not even going to risk the temptation of that again. Now, you go with the market you know are going to demand viewership no matter. So whether the Lakers are good or not, they're going to get eyes whether they're good or not because they're the Lakers. Same with the Knicks. Knicks have been terrible for most of the millennium. So
except twice.
I am not in agreement with some of the chatter. Matter of fact, I think some of the chatter needs to shut the hell up.
The only team you can argue that should be playing on Christmas are the Clippers. But again, we don't know Kawhi. We don't know Paul George.
It's already covered by the Lakers.
It's already covered
by the Lakers anyway.
And it's going to be so great on Christmas Day watching LeBron come to Dallas and Luka beating that ass on national television in front of God in America.
So
But
we're
back to
not
the
going to be
chatter.
talking. We're not going to be talking on that day, but I just don't think that's what's going to be happening. We're going to have Russell Westbrook playing at a high level with
Oh,
King
okay.
James and Anthony Davis, and I'm just
Okay.
we're going to be a good team. We're going to be a good team.
Okay. I love the encouragement. It's August. Back to your point, NFL's king. The NBA's got to go all in. Biggest market, biggest stars, smartest thing for them to do. People who are talking about younger teams, like you said, like who do you want to see on Christmas Day on a young team that's good, right? Memphis is that young team. Like you said, we don't want to see New Orleans. We don't want to see Orlando. We damn sure don't want to see Houston. We don't want to see Toronto. No offense, Kyle. And I know Cleveland is young and good, but ain't nobody
Yeah.
watching the Cleveland Cavaliers on Christmas
Yep,
Day. Like
and
that's not
and
happening.
and I know people are like, well, why did they go Brooklyn? Hey, man, you don't even know if Kevin Durant's even going to
You
be
don't know
playing.
if Kevin
So
Durant's
you
gonna be
can't do
there.
like the Subway Series with the Knicks and the Nets because that's not gonna work. So instead, you put your down the street rivals, the Sixers in. Okay, boom. Now you're getting another
Yep.
huge international star, which Joel Embiid is, which is another reason why they have Giannis playing and Jokic playing. But I mean, and Embiid playing. That's three international stars in three primetime spots. People, I can keep breaking this down to y'all. This is simple viewership economics reigns. You put the Sixers in the prime slot because you know they're likely going to be really good. Joel's going to be likely having a really good season if he's healthy. You know that my man Harden's going to be back to his MVP ways, which I fully expect. So that's going to be a good team. The Knicks should be a decent team. I mean, there's some of these other matchups, Milwaukee and Boston, is going to just be a good game from a basketball standpoint. Then you add in the fact that Giannis and the Bucks were, championship contenders last year had they been healthy. Some may say so.
I know both of us are looking forward to Lakers Dallas. Like that's the game for us. What other game are you interested in or most looking forward to outside of the
Milwaukee,
Lakers?
Boston. I
Yeah.
think it'll be the matchup of the last two representatives of the Eastern Conference in the finals, with one of them being champions 2 years ago. I'm curious to see where Boston's going to be coming in team wise and rank wise. But I think and I think the Celtics. I think the Celtics are going to put in another pretty good season. I think that they are going to really use last year to fuel them. And I think same with the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are a really, really good team when healthy. So hopefully, Chris Middleton's able to get healthy and they can see where they're going. And Suns and Nuggets. I think we know what we're going to get from the Suns and Nuggets. I'll just be curious to see if we're going to be on the Chris Paul farewell tour or if we're still going to be going strong. Grizzlies, Warriors. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that's gonna. I know what that game is gonna look like. So I'm excited to see Ja on that stage, but I think I know what that game is gonna
You,
look like.
you think it's going to be a blowout too? I think it's going to be a blowout. I think Golden State is going to walk those boys.
Those young men. I think it's gonna be a long day in the park. I think it's gonna be a long day in the park.
Jaws going to learn you don't call out the champs on Twitter. Let's talk about the NFL. Preseason's up and running. We're full swing. It's kicked off. It's way too early to start making conclusions and start giving early reads. But what are your thoughts on any specific players, any specific teams? This is week 2 of the preseason.
I know me and you were talking about this a little bit before you got on air, but I want to reemphasize Romeo Dobbs is going to be a good NFL wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. I think him and Christian Watson are going to be the next evolution of great young wide receivers that we take and develop. I think Alan Lazar is going to take that step as well. I've seen Big Jordan Davis from the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh my, oh my. Oh my, you're gonna have to send a few. You have the game plan once he really comes into form. So really curious to see what these Eagles are like. Yo, hey, every so often you say some things that maybe you think about twice after seeing some things, and you say, I don't know what I was thinking there. I've seen the New York Giants play a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's plenty of time. Like it's better to say you were wrong now than week 10.
I'm gonna say this before I say I was wrong. I'm gonna say that maybe the Giants have not progressed the way I gave them credit for progressing. I'm still going to stand on the fact that they will be better than the Eagles this
Okay.
year, but well, maybe not much better. Maybe the Eagles finish with a better record than them, but the Giants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can't
Who
even finish the sentence. You
we
can't even
don't know
finish
where
the
we don't know
sentence.
where the Giants are going to be at. I don't know where the Giants are going to be at. So here's what I'm going to say. Maybe the Giants have not progressed at the rate at which I thought they were going to progress, but I still think they're a very good. I think they're going to be a. I think they're going to be maybe very good. It's a little bit of stretch. I still think they're going to be a better team than the Eagles at this particular moment in time. My opinion can change though, and if it does, I will let you know.
Okay. We'll put a pin in that. That pin's not gonna stay in there long. It's gonna come down real quick because ain't no way in hell.
No, they can't be terrible forever, man.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. For me, my biggest takeaway, and this might be a bit of a hot take, but I don't know why we playing around. Give Sam Howell the starting job. Just go ahead and put Carson on the bench already. Like
Was
Sam
he
was
that
out there.
bad?
I mean, Sam was balling. Like Sam,
I
I think
didn't
he
see
ran
Sam's
one
sideline.
in.
Played very
Yeah,
well.
he ran one in. He threw one in. Like Sam was balling. Like, what are we doing? Why are we playing? Why are we gonna put Scary Terry in a position to catch these hospital balls from Carson? We can put Sam Howell in and see what the kid has. Just go ahead and bench Carson, man. What are we doing? What are we
You
playing?
think
Why
you
wait
think
till week 12 when we can do it right now?
you think Carson Wentz is going to be having Scary Terry seeing Jesus a little bit?
Maybe. Listen, one thing Carson can do well, right? He can make something out of nothing. He can throw the deep, like he has a big arm, he can throw deep ball. But dog, when we talk about short term accuracy and the layups, hey, Scary, be careful. Pray.
He's scared. He gonna put Scary in scary positions.
Yes, he gonna put Scary in
Whoa,
scary
whoa,
positions. You said
whoa,
it. How can you
whoa!
say something like that and then blame it on me? You said it.
No, I was saying whoa, so we could take a second to really think through what we just. Uh, okay. What I forgot where we were taking the culture there for a second. Okay, we were talking about the Washington Commanders. We were talking about Sam Howell, and we were talking about Carson Wentz.
Yes.
I would say this when I was watching Sam Howell's highlights, I was really sitting there when I was like, man, I wonder what they're seeing in camp right now that really has them more sold on Carson Wentz over Sam Howell because maybe Sam Howell he seems like he has a good read on the offense. He's a little bit seems like he has a little versatility in him. So I'm curious to see maybe they're really battling for the maybe trying to battle it out with Taylor Heineke. Um,
I've been
maybe
reading.
they really are sold on Carson Wentz, and maybe Taylor Heineke and my man are battling for the backup role. I will say this. I did see that JJ Ortega-Whiteside got traded randomly.
Yeah, JJ's gone, which is for Eagles fans. We all know JJ was the receiver picked before DK Metcalf. Another great draft by Howie.
How does that make you feel?
He made up for it with Devontae, right? Because he drafted JJ over DK, and then the next draft, he drafted Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson. He's made up for it because we have AJ Brown and Devontae, but yeah, those weren't fun. Those weren't fun
I
years.
don't even understand how do you make those calls?
Yo, if there's a video, if I don't want to look for it because it hurts my heart. There's a video of the Vikings when the Eagles picked Rager and the Vikings front office just starts geeking. Like you get like they like legit just like what? Like Justin really felt it. Like they are geeking when the Eagles announced that they drafted Rager. Tough times. Those are some scary
So
times.
why did they trade JJ Ortega-Whiteside?
I mean, he's just a blocker. He doesn't catch the ball. Like if he's on the field, and that's one thing I look forward to with AJ Brown and the evolution of Jalen Hurts, because when JJ, I'll say White Sox, J Jaw for short. When JJ's on the field, he's not running routes. Like he's there to block. So he tried out for tight end this year. I guess it's not working. I'm surprised they got anything for him. I didn't think he was going to make the 53. Shout out to Howard for getting something for him.
Okay. So, did you see anything within the NFC East after this first week of preseason that has you saying, hey, that team or that player or that situation may be interesting?
For me, it was the penalties against Dallas. Like they had 16 penalties that Denver accepted. Like that was Dallas's downfall last year. All the penalties. It looks like that's not cleaned up. I know it's preseason, and I think only 4 starters played on offense and 3 starters played on defense. But even if the second and third teamers who are fighting for roster spots are committing that many penalties, nothing leads to believe that the people whose jobs are safe are going to play any better or be cleaner.
How do you coach cleaning up the game for players?
I mean, there has to be a punishment for infractions, right? So if you're in practice and there's a holding call, I don't know. Like I know they're grown men. You can't be like in high school, like, all right, go take a lap or go do up downs for 5 minutes. Like there has to be some sort of punishment, or there's some sort of
do up down for 5 minutes.
Hey dog, up downs are the devil, dog. I avoid it. You talk about, hey man, hills and up downs.
Oh man, not go do up downs.
But it's also a reflection of the coach, right? A team that respects and has a little fear for their coach is more likely to play better. And I don't think the Cowboys respect Mike McCarthy. You know my take. I said it last week or a couple weeks ago that I think Sean Payton will be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys this time next year if Mike doesn't win a playoff game. And even if he does win a playoff game, I think there's still a chance that Sean Payton is the coach in Dallas next year.
I don't see how you justify firing Mike McCarthy when he's done everything that you needed to do, and you can match his resume up with Sean Payton's. You're not really getting much difference.
Listen, you know how I feel about Sean Payton too. I feel like Sean Payton is overrated, but Jerry loves him.
Yeah, but he also loves the guy that he hired. That's why he takes care of the people he hired, and we should also take into account that it took him 10 years to fire Jason Garrett. What about in the AFC? Did you see anything from that conference that had you thinking it may be interesting over there?
Only thing that I saw that it wasn't interesting. It was Zach Wilson and his knee injury. I'm glad he's okay. He'll be back week 1 hopefully, but it's just the price you pay in preseason. People get hurt. Unfortunately, I'm glad Zach didn't tear his ACL. Other than that, I mean, the Broncos looked okay. It really wasn't. You know what? I take that back. One team that looked good, and again, second and third stringers, was the Raiders. Like the 2 times that we've seen the Raiders on the field, like their depth has played extremely well. Like I enjoyed watching that Raiders game the other day. Like they were getting, and the Vikings too. Like the Vikings running backs were getting like 5-6 yards a clip. Every 2 runs was a first down.
I'm glad that you mentioned the Raiders because I've been having some chats with some people, and I'm guessing I'm getting the sense that these new faces and new places have some people scared about where they think how that will affect certain players' outcomes. And I give you 2 names: Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. I'll also give you a name like Allen Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Give you a name like these big name, very good players are ending up in these new situations, and how that might impact their numbers for next year. And my thing is like you can't deny talent. These guys are going to be really, really good no matter where they go because they're just that good. What do you say to those people who think that these new situations are going to dictate, are really going to hurt or are going to hinder some of these players? And how maybe have you seen anything so far that maybe backs that sentiment up?
For me, it's always, right, football is a quarterback-driven league. So let's talk about the quarterbacks people have gone from. So Tyreek Hill goes from Patrick Mahomes to Tua Tagovailoa. Patrick Mahomes is otherworldly compared to Tua. So I think there's going to be some drop-off. Devontae goes from Aaron Rodgers, your GOAT, arguably the best QB of this generation and of all time, to Derek Carr, who's good. Like, Derek Carr's not Buki, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. AJ Brown goes from Ryan Tannehill to Jalen Hurts. That could be an upgrade. That could be the same depending on how you look at it. So I don't expect any different from AJ Brown on the number standpoint. Allen Robinson goes from Trevor Lawrence to Matt Stafford. Okay, that's an upgrade. Allen Robinson might eat. So for me, I look at who's throwing in the ball and how good is the person that they left. So, like, how good is the quarterback they left?
Yeah, I mean, I would also say, what do you say to those people who also say not only quarterback play, but what about other weapons in the offense, particularly like something like a Vegas where they have Hunter Renfrow, they have Darren Waller, they have Josh Jacobs coming out of the backfield. What do you think? What do you say to that?
I always think there's going to be some sort of, not a hurdle, but a learning curve, right? So Hunter Renfrow and Derek Carr have that chemistry. They've been playing for a while. Tua and Jalen Waddle, they played a little bit last year, so maybe he can build that rapport with Tariq a little bit better. Matt Stafford has that rapport with Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's the best receiver in the league last year. So it might take some habit building to not lock in with Cooper. It might take some habit to not throw it to Waller or Renfrow. But, I mean, I don't think it's going to, over the course of the season, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Like you said, great players are great no matter where they are. That's what makes them great. I'm just not concerned. I'm just cautious of the people that are throwing them the ball compared to their previous quarterback.
Okay. I'm excited. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of good. I'm excited for these new faces, new places, and seeing what they can do. And I'm really excited to see some of these young bulls like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and what these guys do. But speaking of young bulls, holla at me with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, like I said, he hurt his knee, non-contact injury against the Eagles. Went to the locker room, thought the worst. We thought it was a tear, but after some MRIs, it's not a tear. It's not an ACL tear. It's his meniscus. He's getting surgery. His week 1 status, I believe, is unknown, or he's starting week 1. It's a bone bruise and then his meniscus. Okay. Just glad he's not.
So it was like a lot of players they played it safe with. Drake London being another one, came back. Yeah. He didn't do his ACL, right? So
I'm glad because
you got to play your guys, right? Like I hear about all this, but you gotta play your guys,
especially your second-year quarterback, right? Like Aaron Rodgers doesn't play preseason because he's Aaron Rodgers, right? There's some players who don't play preseason because they're vets, but your second-year quarterback, throw his ass out there in preseason and get him all the reps you can get him. So
what do you say to Gator J's comment about the surprise hit that was on Jalen Hurts? For those who can't see, so Gator J says the prize of the week was the hit on Jalen Hurts that first didn't get called, and second, the NFL not coming out the next day and giving out some sort of punishment.
So he did get flagged. He got flagged for not roughing the passer, unnecessary contact. So it was a 15-yard penalty. He got flagged. In regards to discipline, I don't know because that was helmet to helmet. Like it was clear, the replay, not even in slow motion. Like that was helmet to helmet. It was a late hit out of bounds. Maybe they don't care about preseason, or maybe they don't care that it wasn't Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes. But Quinn Williams should have got some for that hit. It was a real dirty hit.
Nah, people should have met him outside for that one. Because come on, dog. Come on, man. The preseason.
Going that hard in preseason. So, are you ready to talk about this weak ass NFC North?
I don't really like the way you disrespect my division and everything that this division has to offer, but let's get into it. I am ready.
All right. So as you all know, we're breaking down each division every week. This week, we're going to be in the NFC North. We give our records from worst to best in the division and where we think they're going to finish in the NFC. We give our division winners, our biggest storylines, breakout players, division MVP, and any other notes or nuggets we want to share. So, D, this is your division. The floor is yours. Tell me why the Packers are going to go 17-0 and win the Super Bowl.
I don't know about 17-0 and win the Super Bowl, but I will start from the bottom of this division, of course, and I will go up. So finishing last in the division, finishing 14th in the NFC with a divisional record of 0-6 and an overall record of 5-12. I have the Chicago Bears.
Okay.
Listen, you have a wide receiver core that's mid. Justin Fields, let's hope he takes the next step. Darnell Mooney, I think, is going to be the highlight of this team, but I think he's got about. I think this team has about five wins in them. I don't know what I'm seeing from this team that has me thinking they're going to be able to take that next step, but hopefully this sets them on the course during their rebuild to really put themselves in prime position to keep building. Finishing sixth in the NFC, so making the playoffs with a divisional record of 3-2 and an overall record of have 9-6, but I think that's wrong. It should be 9-7, right?
Yeah,
No, or it's
9-7.
9 am I tripping?
Dog.
That's 15.
Math is hard.
No, 9-8. I'm wrong.
Yeah, 9-8.
9-8. And 4-2 in the division. Excuse me, 4-2 in the division. I have the Detroit Lions, so
Okay.
I have them going 9-7 or 9-8. Excuse me, 9-8. 4-2 in the division. Six overall in the conference. I do have them making the playoffs. Okay. I think Detroit's going to take a step. I think Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, St. Brown. I think DeAndre. So I think they have a collective of good skill position players and a team that believes in a head coach enough that they're going to be able to win some games. Finishing fifth in the NFC and making the playoffs, also at 9-8 and at 4-2 in the division. I have the Minnesota Vikings.
Ain't no way you putting three teams from the NFC North in the playoffs.
Ain't no way. I think when you think about the Vikings, they're known to keep a team every so often that's competitive. I think offensively, the mix of Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook is something to be reckoned with on any given day. So, I think, this is a good team when they show up. Yes, they're going to get to the postseason and likely choke, but I still got them making it there at 9-8. And then the number one overall seed in the NFC, the defending number one overall seed in the NFC with the reigning MVP, the Green Bay Packers. I have them 12-5. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 12-5 overall, 5-1 in the division. I just think when you have the greatest quarterback ever, I think top to bottom, I think defensively they're going to have the best, probably one of the top 3 or 4 defenses in the league. And I think this offense should put them in a position to be able to score. Maybe not at the clip they were scoring at 2 years ago, but I think they're going to be scoring at a very, very high rate. So,
I can't believe you got 3 teams for the NFC North going to the playoffs. That's bananas to me.
No.
I want to say when I did my picks, I thought the Bears would be a little better. So that's going to be a reflection of that. I think the overall records are going to be closer to yours, even though I don't think you guys are putting 3 teams in the playoffs. Again, bananas, maybe 2 at the most. But I'm going to stay true to what I said a month ago or a month and a half ago. At the bottom of the division, 2-15, 1-5 in the division, absolute last place, the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff is your quarterback. Jared Goff is not good at all. And again, I think it's going to be closer to yours.
These teams can't be bad forever, man.
Huh?
These teams can't be bad forever, man.
The Lions have been bad my entire life. In my 30s.
Now, they were decent when Barry was on the team.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions had that one year with Megatron and Matt. Like, they had one magical year, and they didn't win a playoff game. Magic. At 6-11, 2-4 in the division, 11th overall, the Minnesota Vikings can't keep riding this Kirk Cousins train. I know Justin Jefferson is that dude, and Dalvin Cook is that dude, but Kirk Cousins is your quarterback. We know the ceiling of a good Vikings team, and we know the floor of a bad Vikings team. I think this is a bad Vikings team. Also at 6-11, 3-3 in the division, 10th overall, and this is when I thought they'd be good. The Chicago Bears. Excuse me. Dang, I can't even finish my sentence without the bullshit sneezing out.
Yeah. What?
I believe in Justin Fields, man. I'm a Justin Fields truther. I am a fan, but he has no one to throw to, right? Again, I thought they would be better.
What?
I would not be shocked if the Bears only won 3 games. I'm admitting my fault, my mistake right now. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears won 3 or 4 games. Right? The Bears are going to be bad. We can agree on that. And then 14-3, 6-0 in the division, the 1 seed overall. I'm with you. Dog, the Packers schedule is not that hard. Your 3 hardest games are
14-3. I'm gonna need you to 14-3 is ridiculous.
Bro, this is your schedule. You have the Vikings, the Bears, the Buccaneers, hard, Patriots, Giants, Jets, Commanders, Bills will be tough. The Lions, the Cowboys, the Titans, the Eagles, Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings. Lions.
I hear some wars in there. But
you're going to win because you have Aaron Rodgers, dude. You have Aaron Rodgers.
12-5, 11-6.
I'm thinking that schedule, you only have 3 hard games. You'll lose 2 of them. And then you'll lose like to the Eagles or to the Dolphins or something like that.
So I can tell you right now. I think, and just to piggyback off of this record, I think that's going to be the biggest storyline from this division. How this division puts 3 teams into the playoffs because they're not going to be as bad as everyone thinks. Yo, bad teams can only be bad for so long when they're playing bad team schedules. Eventually, you have to get better at being a bad team.
Ask the Lions that. When have you ever been afraid of the Lions? You've been on this earth a long time. When have you been?
Didn't the Lions beat y'all last year?
No, we beat them on. Come on, dog. Don't play us like that. We played them week 1, and I was like, man, watch they beat us week 1. That'd be 1 of their 2 wins.
Nah, I think the Lions. I think y'all.
We beat the Lions.
Nah, y'all not.
Did it.
I don't think the Lions. I don't think y'all would beat the Lions if y'all played this year.
I'm a little afraid of that game, but no, we beat the Lions 44-6. You were saying?
I don't think y'all are going to beat them this year.
We'll see. See, you believe in that hard knocks hype. Go ahead.
I haven't watched an episode. Try again.
Yeah, neither have I. I haven't watched any. So we both believe that the Packers are the division winners. What are your biggest storylines?
How the NFC North is going to put 3 teams in the playoffs.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, it's also going to. We're also going to be talking about how the Bears don't have any receiver help outside of outside of Darnell Mooney, which I think is going to be an interesting place to start a young head coach, which I believe they had a young head coach.
That was my storyline. It's just going to be an entire season of looking at Justin Fields being in hell. So I'm sorry, Bears fans. It's cold. You have nothing to look forward to. I am interested to see Aaron Rodgers without Devontae Adams, like life without Adams, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Who's your division MVP?
Man, well, I wanted to say my GOAT, of course, Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like it'd be too easy. So I'm going to go outside the box, and I'm going to say the division MVP will actually be Rashawn Gary, defensive end from the Packers. He's been having a hell of a camp. I think he's going to be a hell of a player this year. I also want to say Rasul Douglas, Jair Alexander, and Eric Stokes, the defensive backs for the Packers. They're going to have really, really good years. I expect to see another Pro Bowler join Jair. So yeah.
This is going to sound counterintuitive, but follow me here. I think it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson. The Lions are going to be down in a lot of games. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to rush the passer, which is going to give Aiden opportunity. That's what he does best, to get some sacks. And on a Detroit team that is going to be terrible, that is going to be one of the only few bright lights to be looking to hope for in the future. We start overhyping guys, especially those who get a lot of sacks, i.e. Jason Babin in Philadelphia, who don't do anything else. I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to rack up at least 7.5, 8 sacks. He might get to double digits. If he gets to double digits, he's going to the Pro Bowl. He's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he's going to be MVP of the division.
Oh yeah. Do you think he's going to take the league by storm like Michael Parsons did?
No, I don't think he's there. Like Michael Parsons is extremely athletic. I think Aiden is more, he has a nonstop motor, more technique based. Like Michael Parsons is just athletic freak of nature. Like Nick Bosa too. Like they're just athletic and they're really, really great. I think Aiden is just going to get he's going to be a smart player, technique, nonstop motor. I think he's going to get his sacks late in games and it's going to start to pile up.
Okay, I like that. Well, not really, but I can dig it.
Who's your? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. That Aiden Hutchinson is my breakout player, not my division MVP. That's on me. Who is your breakout player?
My breakout player, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
I think he's going to explode on the scene. I think if anyone was paying attention to the end of last season, you saw he was getting busy, and I think he will continue to get busy. Amon-Ra St. Brown will be a name people hear about. He is versatile. He's really good. I expect to hear great things out of him this upcoming season.
And my apologies for getting confused. My division MVP is Allen Lazard. Aaron Rodgers has that Tom Brady in him that he can make receivers great. Like Aaron's like, yo, just stand over there or get here by here and open your hands. The ball will be there. That's how accurate Aaron is. So I think Allen Lazard is going to be the MVP of the division.
Yeah, and Aaron's been saying Allen Lazard's been having a really good camp so far. He's been saying Allen Lazard is wide receiver 1. So I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. If he turns out to be the wide receiver 1, I think we're sitting in good company. I mean, he's had games before where he had splash performances, particularly one against the Saints maybe last year or the year before where he had a big performance. So Allen Lazard is a really, really good player. Looking forward to it. I did wait, did you have anything else on the NFC North? Because I did want to read you a tweet that I read, but it's about an AFC East team. So I want to make sure we're done with NFC North before I say this.
I do have one more thing about the NFC North, and this is my gripe because you and other people keep talking about the NFC East like it's garbage, like the NFC North is superior. I went to Caesar Sportsbooks and I got the over/under win totals for teams in the NFC East and NFC North, and it's very interesting. So NFC North win totals, the over/unders, right? Packers are at 11, Minnesota is at 9, Chicago is at 6.5, and Detroit is at 6. NFC East, Dallas is at 10.5, Philadelphia is at 9.5, Washington 7.5, and the New York Giants are at 7 wins. The NFC North is weak. The NFC North is watered down, and we don't talk about it.
That's where you're getting your bases off of. Couple sports books and where they're
Vegas knows, and we can't talk about it because it'll hurt 12's feelings.
Look at what's swaying our black men. Vegas and the white man's opinions on team totals. My brother, you have to see through the white man's plot as they try to break your mind with these numbers.
We can't talk about the NFC being weak because it'll hurt 12's feelings. We can't do that because he's out here taking psychedelics. We can't hurt 12's feelings. NFC is weak. NFC North is weak.
You see how they hate?
The NFC.
Why y'all don't want to let my man be great?
The NFC North is going to have 2 teams with top 5 picks. You're back to your AFC East.
I don't think so. I think your fantasy teams will be top 5 picks, not my NFC North teams. And I'm not trying to defend my NFC North teams that much.
And enjoy capping for the Detroit Lions. What is this AFC East tweet?
This is tweeted by Simon Charles. He's an esteemed sports journalist and Patriots beat writer.
Okay.
8 hours ago, he tweeted, Mac Jones went up to Bryant Burns following a long touchdown pass to Tyquan Thornton. Obviously, they're having a joint practice. The Patriots are. Mm-hmm. And Mac Jones said to Brian Burns, hold my nuts, little bitch.
No, he didn't.
A massive brawl here at Patriots camp. Burns then pushed Mac Jones over, leading to punches thrown by Kendrick Bourne and others defending QB1. I said to say, we are in the land of practice fights.
Mac Jones, stop listening to NBA, young boy. Like he gonna get you fucked up. Like chill out, my dude.
How do you feel about the practice fights, the training camp fights?
As someone who played football in the middle of the summer, I understand it. It is hot. You are miserable. You know, you're running and hitting other guys full speed. Pause. I know I can see that on your face. You know,
How does it?
like you're exhausted. You're doing. I mean, they don't do 2-a-days anymore in the NFL, but I understand your fuse is a little bit shorter. You're angry. You just want to go home. You want to make sure everyone gets out of practice without any injuries. And then out of nowhere, Mac Jones, of all people, the dude who works at the Dollar Tree down the street, walk up to you and tell you to hold his nuts.
Come on, man. He ain't got to
Nah, dog. Nah, dog. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I will.
Nah, we ain't got to do Mac Jones like that. Come on.
Yes, we do. And I will say this. Stop throwing punches. Stop throwing like punches at people who are wearing helmets. Yo, punch them in the stomach. Punch them in the kidneys. They're exposed. Go for the body shots. You punching Mac Jones in the head, you're going to break your knuckle. Aim for the stomach. It is exposed. Aim for the ribs. Uppercut. Like hit him in the side and the torso like uppercuts. You can get underneath the rib. That's where you do your damage. Stop punching people in the face, man. They're wearing helmets. That's what they're there for.
I can't let you get over what you call my man, though. I can't let you. Yo, this is Mac Jones we're talking about. He's a good NFL player.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He was voted to the NFL Top 100.
So, and so was Kyle Juszczyk. Like, Kyle Juszczyk is actually good.
And they're voted and recognized amongst their peers as one of the 100 top players.
Mac Jones got like 80 something, right? Like he was like I saw that. I was like, yo, who they ask?
The player.
Bill Belichick had something to do with this. Like, ain't no way.
They asked the players.
They asked all Patriots.
Mac Jones was the only Patriot or the only quarterback on there who didn't have any skill position players make it on there. So what do you say to that?
He's not good.
Why are you hating?
I'm not hating. I just have eyes.
But you're saying your division does better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Speaking of, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I know you about to say something real slick, and it's gonna be gold. So I'm here for it.
So you think that Mac Jones, if he was to come to a team in the NFC East, he could compete and not win that starting job?
I think he could win the starting job in Washington and New York. He cannot win it in Dallas.
No, you work. I think he could win it in everywhere but Dallas.
That's crazy. Now you being disrespectful. You telling me you take Mac Jones over Jalen Hurts?
What do we?
In this redraft and in this dynasty league, take Mac Jones. Leave Jalen Hurts for me. Take Mac Jones. Put your money where your mouth is. When we draft, I want to see Los D Mix draft Mac Jones.
If he's on the board, I'll highly consider it.
But you won't do it. I'll highly consider it myself.
If he's on the board, I might consider it. What?
If it's the last pick in the draft and I have nothing else, like if my roster's complete, sure, I'll take a flyer on Mac Jones. But
y'all sleep on Mackie J. Shout out Mac Dre 10.
Mac Dre 10. That's what. Yo, stop listening to me, a young boy, Mac Jones. He's going to get you effed out. Let's talk about Mac Jones' college team, Alabama. The first official AP poll came out. I have some glaring thoughts, but D, what are your thoughts about the AP poll, the first release of it?
Ohio State's winning the national championship. I'm starting right here.
Okay.
I got Ohio State winning the national championship. Alabama at number one. I'm surprised they didn't give Georgia number one just off of the strength of them winning the chip. But I guess when they know what would have happened had they, never mind.
And they lost a lot of players.
I bet they did. Yeah, I bet they did. They're about to beat some ass. How much you want to bet?
I know how much you hate Georgia football, so I'm gonna let you revel in that. For me, I don't know. Maybe it's something I'm not seeing, but I don't know how the hell Clemson come in at 4. Like they were terrible last year, and Wnba is still there.
No, they got better as the year went on. Now it's a make or break year for DJ. I agree.
Yeah, like, okay, like the draft is coming up, young man. You got to do something. And then for me, stop putting Notre Dame in the top 5.
They're in the tier that they belong.
I'm tired of talking about Notre Dame. They should not sniff the college football playoff until they're
in the tier that they belong because they are Notre Dame, sir.
And play in a conference championship. It is a competitive disadvantage that Notre Dame gets to take a week off while everyone else plays in a conference championship game, and then they get to go to the playoffs. That's why they get smoked every year. They don't have to play a conference schedule. They don't have to do the rivalries. They don't have to do all that. They get to handpick their opponents, play USC at the end of the year, and then somehow have their hands open for a playoff berth, and they don't even play. They don't win a regular season conference championship, and they don't win a conference championship game. Stop putting Notre Dame in the college football playoff, or even within striking distance.
But you say that, but Notre Dame plays a mix of ACC and Pac-12 opponents, which is 2 Power 5 programs. Mind you, could they sprinkle in a little more SEC or a little more Big 12? Yes, they could. I agree, but they don't. So you have to judge them based off the teams they play. They play a lot of Pac-12 and ACC schools with a little bit of Big 10. Listen, man, Notre Dame is in the category they belong.
Here is Notre Dame's schedule. So they start off with Ohio State. That is the game, right? That's the only hard game they're going to have.
Wait, Notre Dame win?
Notre Dame, Ohio State, September 3rd at 7:30.
September 3rd when?
September 3rd this year. Notre Dame.
No way.
That's going to end the college.
No way.
Look it up. I'm looking at the schedule. Then they have Marshall, Cal, UNC, BYU, Stanford, UNLV, Syracuse, Clemson, Navy, Boston College, USC. Does that sound like the schedule of a team that deserves to be in the college football playoff? They better run the table. You can't lose.
Well, see, here's where you're wrong because BYU they normally keep a top 25 school. So you have to respect that. Clemson has already been recognized as a good school, as a ranked team. So I have to respect that. And on top of that, if USC and Lincoln Riley works out, then you know that's going to be a good team too. So what does that mean? You also add in the fact that UNC might mess around and be randomly good, and the fact that Stanford might mess around and have a good team because they're always well coached.
Dog, we talking about Stanford football. Listen, I'll say this. If Notre Dame runs the table, I will consider it. For me, it's the fact that they do not have to play a conference.
They don't have to run the table. If the only game they can lose is Notre Dame or to USC. No, Notre Dame, Clemson, or USC. But they got to win at least 1 or 2 of those.
So here's the thing, though. You have a 1-loss Notre Dame that did not play in the conference championship game against a 1-loss or 2-loss, let's say Alabama, that lost in the conference championship game. Who gets the nod? The team that plays in the conference championship. You cannot skip conference championship week and then come to me asking for a playoff berth. Hey, that is a competitive disadvantage.
It's not their fault that they're not in that.
It is their fault because they don't want to join a conference. Join a conference, win your conference like everybody else.
Now all it is just 2 super conferences now. So now what incentive do they have? Get caught up in the jambalaya of being in the super conferences?
No, you join the ACC and bring credibility to the ACC.
Nah, there's no credibility. Where is credibility when everyone's chasing the money? You saw what Coach Gundy said earlier.
I know, but like that is something like that.
I'm looking at Ohio State's schedule.
Read it out.
They got Notre Dame. They got Arkansas State, Toledo. Then they play Wisconsin at Ohio State, Rutgers, Michigan State, Iowa, Penn State, Northwestern, Indiana, Maryland, of course, and then the game against Michigan.
Here's my thing about there's something to be said about playing in a conference and playing the same team over and over and over again every single year and building that rivalry and familiarity. There's something to that. If there wasn't, there would be no conferences at all. Like there's something to that adds something to the game. There's something about Ohio State and Iowa that you think, yeah, I think Iowa can pull this off. They might not. But the fact that Notre Dame gets to handpick their opponents, I mean, they play at semi-ACC, semi-Big 12, and then they get to handpick whoever they want to play. Like, you cannot skip conference championship Saturday and then come to me and ask for a playoff berth. Play in the conference.
But that wouldn't matter if the committee hadn't already had a history of putting teams who didn't win their conference title games into.
But there's something to be said. They at least play the game, right? It is a competitive disadvantage that Notre Dame gets an extra week off.
Hey, man. Don't blame me. I'm going by what the committee said.
Dog, let's talk about Moon Knight. I'm already angry. What you finished it, you sent me a message about Moon Knight, and you said it wasn't as bad as I made it seem. What did you enjoy about that ass show?
I thought the storyline was put together well. It had a little bit of a drag at a little bit of the beginning, but it had to set you up because it really wanted to take you in on both sides of what was going on with the with dual personalities. And I think they did a good job of setting you up and then slowly unraveling the story so that you could understand, kind of the mind of what Stephen was going through. So I finished it, and when I finished it, I was just like, yo, what did Danny think was bad about this? Because he was so adamant that this was not good, and he's crazy.
It was not. So, spoiler alert, I'll give you guys, those who are watching and those who are listening, 3 seconds before I start talking about the show and the spoilers. Okay, so my one of my biggest gripes is he keeps passing out during the action scenes. We're here for the action. Like, it was cool the first episode, but the last episode, like the last battle, he blacks out. He switches personalities, and we wake up and all the violence is gone. That was whack. I need to see the violence. That's why I watch a Marvel show, for the violence. My second thing is and I appreciate the reflection of multiple personality disorder. Yeah, I hear you, but you mean to tell me that those two personalities went to the depths of hell together, to the underworld, and you want to tell me that there was a third guy there the entire time that no one knew about and no one saw? And I know someone's going to say, well, they walked in the room and there's a coffin and they didn't open it. You want to tell me there were 3 people inside of him the entire time, and no one figured it out. No one, like, there's nothing. And then just so the story can keep going, Disney's like, oh, yeah, there's a third personality over here that we didn't know about. That's terrible storytelling, because you know what? Next season, there's going to be another one, and then another one. And then he's going to have 40 personalities they're going to have to keep up with. It was terrible storytelling. Like, they went through all that.
Who's going to have 40 personalities? Only 2.
It's 3. Finish
2
watching
that share with the
No,
the
there's
night.
3. Did you watch the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
That's the third personality. So there were the 2 that were interacting the entire season, and then the final scene, that's a third personality. It's a new personality. The driver, when he's the driver, that's a third personality.
Okay.
That's terrible storytelling. Unless I misinterpret it. We can Google it. We have a Google machine.
Where's research?
Let's see.
Now I'm looking at a football schedule now. A football program. I know we're not technically on sports, but I had a football program's schedule that's pulled up right now. And I'm telling you, man, if this team was to run the table, it wouldn't be bad.
Who is it?
It's the University of Oregon. They start off the season playing Georgia, and then they play Eastern Washington, and then they play BYU, Wazoo, Stanford, Arizona, UCLA, Cal, Colorado, Washington, then Utah, and then Oregon State.
Okay. And then they will meet. No, the Pac-12. No, the Pac-12 has a championship game. So if they ran the table and they beat USC in a Pac-12 championship game, yeah, we can talk. We can have that conversation.
And they play Utah again, which has been an Achilles heel, because Utah beat them down last year.
And Utah's ranked top 10. I guess for me, it's if Georgia, like say they beat Georgia and Georgia goes on to be some ass, that win doesn't mean anything. But if they beat Georgia and then Georgia ends like 15 or 12. Okay, that's a quality win. What's his face? You said UCLA. Chip Kelly's been doing a good job. So that's a. What was the last one? Like you said a few other, like Utah. Yes, if they beat Utah, that's a quality win. And then if they go to the Pac-12 championship,
Colorado, they go to Colorado.
Okay,
They play at home against Washington. They
Okay,
go to Cal.
okay,
They go to Arizona, and they play BYU as well.
okay. I need to see them beat USC in the Pac-12 championship game in the Rose Bowl. That'll get you into the playoff, especially if if the SEC beats each other up and you have a bunch of one-loss SEC teams.
And this is the second year that they played SEC team. Last year they played Auburn. I don't know if you remember that game.
Oh yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
So shout out to the Oregon Ducks. I mean, they're definitely keeping themselves in that, in that realm and keeping themselves very relevant.
So last thing, WNBA, Liz Cambridge releases a statement talking about her Sparks exit, saying she's going to not return to the league. She's going to focus on herself. What do you think?
Part of me says it's some bullshit, but I'm trying to be respectful. I think this is the attempt to do a little bit of PR work and a little bit of cleanup. Let me stay low here and then come out. And I bet you the next time we hear from her, there'll be a lot of apologies, a lot of tears, so on and so forth. I think she must have been ugly to the people.
I agree. The WNBA playoffs start tomorrow. Are you looking forward to anything in particular?
I will say I watched the Vegas-Seattle game on Saturday, I believe it was.
I think it was Sunday afternoon.
It was Sunday. And I was very impressed with Chelsea Gray. Man, she's nice. I think the Vegas as a team is pretty nice. So I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do. I know they're the number one overall seed, I hear. So intrigued to see what they're going to do and how and how this postseason plays out. I think the rule is it's 5-game series now. So
it's 3-5-5. So first round's 3, second round is 5.
Yeah, so 3-5-5. So we'll be curious to see if that really helps some viewership. But I'm overall excited to see some good basketball being played.
2 things I'm looking forward to. Sabrina Ionescu and the New York Liberty. They snuck into the playoffs on Sunday. It is her first season. It's her first time in the playoffs. She has been balling all year. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare in the playoffs as a lower seed. And then for me, I'm going back to, like you said, Vegas and Seattle. They would meet in the second round. They've played the past 2 Sundays on ABC, and they have been great games. Each team has at least 2 people that can go off for 30 points. For those who don't know, WNBA quarters are 10 minutes, not 12 minutes like an NBA quarter, which is extremely impressive that someone's dropping 30 points in a 40-minute game, and that does not include when they sit down to take rest. All right, so when we talk about WNBA basketball, I know a lot of people talk trash about it, but it is a very exciting product. Again, I think Jewel Lloyd had like 34 for Seattle Sunday, 34 points in a 40-minute game. That is extremely impressive. I really want to see Vegas and Seattle in round 2. I hope we get that, and I hope all those games are prime time, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Like that. That's
what they do too. Like give them the respect they deserve.
And give Aja Wilson MVP. I know it's between Brianna and Aja. Aja's your MVP. She won the 1 seed, and she beat Brianna twice the past 2 weeks when it mattered the most. Aja's the MVP.
How do you feel about the Patriots putting Malcolm Butler on IR?
Oh, what's the injury? What's the reason? Like, what did he hurt?
I don't know. I don't know what the injury is exactly. Just wanted to get that out there.
Because you can bring a player off IR after like 8 weeks, right? 8 or 9 weeks and come back off IR and play, right?
I think so, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Jets also placed Mekhi Becton on IR. Want to send my wishes out there.
Damn.
Joe Flacco, I know we said this earlier. Joe Flacco is in line to start week 1 versus his former team, the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, go ahead and just watch something else.
Nah, don't do him like that. Don't do him like
Yeah,
that.
just go ahead and watch something else. Don't waste your time.
Um, okay, so did you hear about the trade last week between the Dolphins and the Texans for tight end Adam Shaheen? And then Adam Shaheen didn't pass his physical.
No, I missed that. What's the happening?
Uh, so Adam Shaheen didn't pass his physical, so the trade fell through.
Mm-hmm.
So now the Dolphins just placed Adam Shaheen on injured reserve.
Yep, that sounds like because you can play someone on injured reserve and then buy them out, right? Like an injury settlement, right? Like you can do that, right?
And then one last one. Buccaneers reached a 1-year deal with former Raider Carl Nassib.
So there's
I think Carl Nassib was once coached under Todd Bowles,
mhm.
so they're bringing him back.
And there was a lot of he was a free agent. I know he's the first openly gay player. There was a lot of talk about why he's not in the league as he's still productive. So glad to see he got a shot with his former coach. That's where he was his best at his peak when he played for Todd Bowles. So hopefully he can go back and help the Bucks win a few games.
Yeah. What else, man? What are you doing? What are you doing this week? How's everything been going, man?
This week, what am I doing? Oh, so this week, my wife and I are going to Maryland to see our nephew. He is turning 8, so happy birthday to him. We're going to Sky Zone. I'm going to jump on some trampolines with some kids. Try not to hurt anybody because, it's hard to jump on trampolines with children. I've learned that over the course of my life because they don't understand timing. So when you hit the trampoline, they try to go up, which makes them go higher. And that can lead to injury because kids aren't used to being in the air that high, that long, so they don't know what to do with their bodies. So I'm doing my best. But if there's a hoop and there are kids, I'm turning that joint to slam ball and I'm dunking on a bunch of 8-year-olds, and I don't care.
Oh man, yo, what's up with you, yo? You dunking on the kids?
Yes. If they want to get on this, if they want to
Sometimes
get on the hoop,
sometimes you really just gotta, really hoop up on the kids just to let them know, yo, young boy, there's still levels to this, and you gotta work your way up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just to humble them.
What about you?
A lot of mock drafts, man. A lot of mock drafts. To all who are in my leagues, to the leagues that I'm a part of, to the commissioners whose leagues I'm a part of, I am winning money back.
Yes.
I know. I'm only in one league that even has a place. I mean, they even has money for third place. All the other ones are money for first and second place only. And then, of course, in my league, there's incentives. So I'm really trying to put my best foot forward and come out with the best team. And as I look across my leagues, I mean, in my redraft league, I got pick number 8 in one league and pick number 3 in my league. In my keeper league, I'm pick number 8. And then even though I already know who I'm keeping, so I don't even know what the draft board is going to look like. So I don't even know what that means picking at 8. I'm just going to be picking the best available players, but whatever. And then obviously in our dynasty league, I have pick 4.
Yep.
So that's going to be an interesting tactic in itself. So letting all y'all know I'm winning my money and I ain't playing no games. So
I too am winning money back because I'm gonna kill it. I know Gator in here popping off, but I'm winning. I'm dynasty. I got the 3rd pick. It's going to whoever is left between Jamar, Justin, and Jonathan.
Who you think about taking at number 9?
I can't tell you my strategy.
I'm picking at number 3, so it doesn't even matter. I'm not even going to see you.
Oh, your other league. I say, okay, my bad. The other league for me, that number 9, hopefully an elite running back falls to me. That is the goal. And if not, if there are not any elite running backs, then it's 2 elite pass catchers back to back. Like if I get my hands on like Kyle Pitts, and then I'm trying to think of someone like
You're high
Jamal,
on Kyle Pitts.
People, I've been seeing some videos of Cal, and again, it just depends because I know Jamar's not going to fall to me. I know Justin's not going to fall to me. So if I can't get like Dalvin or Joe Mixon or an elite running back, then it's going to be 2 elite pass catchers like Stephon Diggs and CD Lamb, something like that.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Let the people know where to find you, man.
First and foremost, follow us, follow the pod, speak on the _pod, Twitter and Instagram. Trying to be a little bit more active on IG, get some more content up there. You can follow me on Twitter at madads14. I need to change that Twitter handle because it doesn't have any significance anymore. So I might change my Twitter handle. What do you think? Do you have any? You're really creative. You come up with the names of the show. Do you have a creative Twitter handle? And please don't say anything disrespectful because I'm asking you as a friend.
What is wrong with Danny Ocean?
I think it might be taken. Let's see.
Damn.
Let us see. I'm sure it is taken, but we can always see. Where can they find you?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, where can the people find you?
Oh, where can they find me? I thought you were talking about Danny Ocean.
Yes.
Where can they find Danny Ocean? Oh, no, people, you already know where you can find me. At Los Demix, LOSDEEMIX. As my guy Danny said, make sure you follow the pod at speakonit_pod. We here, as good as a commissioner I am, I will continue to keep you guys updated. I will say that it is about 3 weeks until a lot of the drafts go off. So you won't really hear me and Danny really turning up for another 22 days. Another 22 days. So actually, Danny, now that I think about it, when we have the draft for my redraft league, it will be after our normal Tuesday show. So we'll have the dynasty draft before then, but the redraft league will be after our Tuesday show. So, man, the people won't even know about our teams or our week 1 matchups.
We'll keep them in touch though. Maybe we can post something on the gram or something to keep the viewers updated. Put something on.
We'll let y'all know.
Yeah, we'll let y'all know. D, do you have a rap for us? Do you have anything for us?
Here's what I can do.
And on that note, that's like Wayne in No Ceilings. For every song he hit the lighter. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for episode 16. Speak on it. I'm your host, Danny Ocean. D, it's been a pleasure.
Now the pleasure is all mine, my brother, all day, every day.
Y'all have a good week. Oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all have a good week, and we'll catch you next Tuesday. Oh, we'll catch you tomorrow at 9:30, and then we'll catch you next Tuesday.
Tomorrow, catch us. Jeff, we there. I'm drafting good too, brother.
We winning. Peace.